first of all, congratulations, guys. The first season of Will and Grace coming out on DVD. That's got to make you feel really good.
I can't believe that we're here, you know. It seemed like yesterday that we were just sitting in a very small office at NBC writing the pilot for the show.
You're in season number 5. Can you, for all those people, most people don't know, can you take us back and tell us the germ of how it all began?
NBC made the phone call to us, and we were writers in an overall deal, and they were looking for a new love story to put on television on their network. And Mad About You was about to go off the air, and they wanted to do another relationship story.
And we're like, what love story can we tell with a good obstacle? Because love stories are only as good as the obstacles that prevent the two from getting together.
Sure.
And then we came up with an idea to tell a love story that
Has an insurmountable
has an insurmountable obstacle, and they'll never get to the kiss. Anyway, they said to us, we are looking for a television show that has a fresh new love story in it. And we went about trying to do that, and I guess we didn't succeed in that we created this couple that had next-door neighbors named Will and Grace. And when we pitched the show to the network, they said, hey, we really like those neighbors. We're not so crazy about who you put into the lead role.
Right.
But why don't you two go back to your office and think of a series that would revolve around those two?
When we had said initially that this is the most interesting couple, we thought, you know, they said nothing about this, and then coming about, you know, a gay man and a straight woman, and coming right in the wake of Ellen, we thought, maybe we should sort of camouflage it in a forest of straight people.
Right.
So we weren't that comfortable with the idea of doing this. I mean, actually, David is the straight half.
Yes.
And he was much more comfortable with the idea than I was.
Than you were?
I just thought, well, it would be obvious, and we can't really do this, and it didn't work, and I didn't know that I was going to. Personally, I didn't know that I would be very comfortable presenting this kind of story and hear what a big network had to say about this subject matter. And the truth is, we could not have been with better people.
They embraced it.
They embraced it, and they told us, okay, we will consider this, but why don't we go to the great Jimmy Burrows and let him give this thing a read and see what he thinks of this subject matter, and would an audience be interested in this?
Well, NBC suggested Jimmy Burrows, and at first, of course, we bristled.
Yeah, I mean, we were, you know, we were all of 12 years old at the time, and we were walking across the street, and we bumped into Warren Littlefield as he was walking to deliver this script to Jimmy Burrows, and we didn't know that was going on, and we said to Warren, "Where are you going?" And he said, I'm going to bring Jimmy Burrows the pilot of Will and Grace."
And we said, well, we don't know that we like that idea so much.
Yeah,
you know?
we thought, well, actually, what we said, which is unbelievable, is we told Warren that we didn't want this show to star Jimmy Burrows. We wanted it to star Max and David.
Of course.
And
I didn't say that.
No, you're right. I said that. Warren said, "Thanks for the input, Max. I'm going to go have my lunch." He brought the script to Jimmy Burrows, who read it and said, "I want to meet with these two." And we drove over to meet Jimmy at Walter's Cafe on Cannon Drive in Beverly Hills. And the whole time we're on our way over there, we're telling ourselves, there's no way we're going to let this guy
take our story and
tell us what to do. We're girding ourselves up to just say, thanks, we respect you, but no thanks.
So we go into this cafe and we sit down to.
And there's Jimmy there, you know, sitting there reading the last 2 pages. He's just gotten to the last 2 pages.
Yeah.
And we look at him with our big doe eyes.
He says, you know, he said, so what do you think? And he says, you know, I like it. I think I want to do it. And we look at each other, you know, we're girded up having just had this pep talk, and we look at him and we say, okay. You know? And that was basically it. That was our big stand.
Yeah. And you know, it's been a fantastic thing for us. That relationship has made this experience in a lot of ways.
Sure.
To bring in a guy like that who's done everything and been around. I mean, he's like 7,000 years old.
Yeah, I know.
And he took
old,
you know, and he took the show on, and good for him. You know, he said, let's go for it.
The other thing about Jimmy was that we actually, I mean, in retrospect, you think, okay, well, there's going to be rocky times ahead because Ellen had just been canceled, and the whole rap on Ellen was, well, it got too gay for an American audience, and Jimmy had a certain amount of clout. You know, just it's almost like once he put his imprimatur on it, then it was okay, and he basically said, I believe in this. I believe in this story. I believe in these characters. I don't think that there's anything that should worry anybody here at
Exactly.
NBC. And that was a huge thing for us.
Yeah. Well, I just remember that there was never any kind of a big to-do. I mean, people embraced it, and they embraced it warmly. And
we've always said that the story behind the show is that there's been no story in terms of a controversy.
Yeah.
This show has been taken in from the very beginning, and there's been very little controversy. Read the subject matter.
Sure. Tell me about the cast. I mean, did they obviously just gelled from day one.
It's lightning in a bottle.
They're just amazing to sit and watch.
This cast is lightning in a bottle. You don't ever come across this. And when Debra Messing, I think, was the last person to join the group, and I remember getting that phone call that she had signed, and I knew that we were in for something very special. Sean walked in the room, and you knew it immediately. Megan, the same. Eric actually was the first person to come in and read for us. And
tell me about the unbelievable lineup of guest stars that you have been so fortunate to have, and who have been so fortunate to be a part of this. I mean, people like Cher and Matt Damon and Elton John, and I mean, Demi Moore coming up, and Madonna to come. I mean, what do you think it is? I talked to the cast about this earlier, but what do you guys think it is that just entices these people, primarily from the big screen or the music world, to want to be part of this unbelievable show?
I don't know. I mean, Bert Convy did The Love Boat. I think that's where it started. The idea of like good guest stars coming on to
I think that they come onto the show because there's a certain consistency with the material. They know from watching, and they know from talking to friends that they're going to be taken care of. We've tried to make make it a policy to tailor-make everything to these superstars that come onto this show and take good care of them. That's the promise that we make them.
Right.
And then, in addition to that, I think that they show up, and it's a very happy set. It's always been a happy set, and it's a set of 4 hard-working actors who. There's very little bullshit that goes on around here. They just get to work in the morning. They put the thing up on its feet. They present it to the writers, and then they go on with their nice lives. And I think that makes for a very good work environment.
You know, also I think, you know, Matt Damon, for example, he was in a softball league with Sean or something like that, and Sean said, if you ever want to do the show, and he just said, sure, it looks like fun. And I think that seems to be the attitude of a lot of people who. I actually got a call from a friend of mine who works at Michael Douglas's company. He said, you know, Michael Douglas seems to think it looks like fun on that, and he kind of wants to do one. And I said, convince him that it is in fact fun, and please, we would love to. We try to give them parts that they wouldn't otherwise be doing. You know what I mean? So it's
very out of character for what you.
The idea of Michael Douglas has been a detective before, but he's never been a detective who is faking a case so that he can hit on another man. You know what I mean? So and it's almost like this is a fun thing for him to get to do. You know, Matt Damon plays. You know, he plays leading men, you know, romantic leads, or he plays. You know, like in The Bourne Identity, he is an action hero, you know, but he rarely gets to be a guy who wants to be in the gay men's chorus, even though he's a straight man. And, you know, so it's a chance to have fun. Seriously, it's a chance to have fun.
I think that's what it is. It's a fun place to work. We keep it very light. There's very little drama that goes on this set. It's about the work, and I think that's. And this audience that shows up now at this point is such a revved up, devoted audience. And that's a great thing for someone like Demi Moore, who doesn't do a lot of, you know, stage work, to come into this environment and get to. It's like doing a play.
Back to season 1, because I know this is going to be on the great DVD release of the first season. Do you guys look back, and are there any high points from year 1? I mean, do you think back on one big thing that you remember from that year, either a big obstacle or your biggest surprise, or?
Well, in the second episode, we were always curious to see how Karen and Jack would get along. They seemed sort of perfectly suited to one another, and we wrote this scene where he just sort of is intrigued by her, and she sort of plays coy, and he asks her to touch stomachs.
Yes. Yes.
And she says, "You're a freak for asking me that," and then goes along with it. And it felt like a really funny. It seemed like the first moment where the two of them were aware. I get you. You're kind of a weird kindred spirit of mine. And then all of a sudden, it was almost like another couple was born.
We had no idea about the Karen and Jackness of it all.
Right.
You know, this was a show that we created about these two, Will and Grace.
Yeah.
And that was an incredible bonus to show up in the second week of work and realize, oh my God, there's another couple on that stage that's fabulous.
In the very beginning, did you find that everybody was trying to offer you advice, don't go too far, or this is too gay, or this is not gay enough, or, I mean, did you find that there were a lot
There was nobody who was going to be a harsher critic than him, saying that's too far to go, people don't want to see that.
Right.
The first 13 episodes of this show was incredibly difficult for us as writers and as people. We had no idea what we were dealing with in terms of well, I just don't think we were ready for it. You know, it was so much more than we thought it was going to be, and we were very hard on ourselves. And I remember I actually drove home the second week of work, and I cried in the car, thinking, I don't think that I'm going to be able to do this. You know, it was overwhelming. Here's the good deal. We grew up together. We've known each other for a very long time. We were each other's harshest critic, and we're critics of ourselves personally. So we always stopped ourselves before we went too far. And the rule was always kind of, if David thought it was funny, then I knew it worked, and I think he felt the same way about me.
Right.
And that was a very good meter, because you ideally want your audience to want to be those people or want to hang out with those people. And I think that that's what's going on for the audience of Will and Grace.
My gauge going in was, is this something that my daughter, who is now 7, if she were 12, is this something she would feel comfortable saying, this is what my dad does?
Right.
You know, is it something she would be able to sort of say, this is what my father does for a living? I guess that's the main thing.
How would you like to see the story of Will and Grace and Jack and Karen come to a conclusion when that time has to come many, many years from now?
There is no end game right now.
That there are those classic...
But to answer it seriously, the best thing would be, because the truth is they serve each other's dysfunction, and the best way for this story to end, the big story, is that each of them finds love.
Right.
Just like we all want
so
to.
that they need each other, they depend on each other. But,
are we done?
Thanks, guys. I mean, it was good.
I got to go pay my bills. We'll be right back.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
It was great.
Okay.